My house smelled like roasted turkey, buttered rolls, and cinnamon pie. Everyone was crowded around the table, laughing and passing dishes like we actually liked each other. For once, it felt normal. My sister Kelly sat across from me, already tipsy on her second glass of wine, poking at the green bean casserole. I had stepped away for maybe 5 minutes, just long enough to grab an extra bottle of wine from the kitchen. When I came back, Kelly was leaning over my laptop, which I'd left open on the side table. I hadn't expected anyone to go near it. I never do. Her face twisted in confusion. What the hell is this? I paused mid-step. What? She turned the screen toward the rest of the family. It says here. She squinted. Current balance, $12,083,614.19. Her voice cracked halfway through. The room froze. Her fork hung in the air. My mum's eyes locked on mine. My cousin stopped chewing mid-bite. Even the dog seemed to go quiet. Then came the questions, all at once. Is that real? Where did that come from? Are you serious right now? Kelly stood up so fast her chair screeched back. You're sitting on $12 million? You've been keeping this from us? I looked around. Every face was different now. Suspicion, disbelief, hurt. It's not what you think, I said, my voice low. Mom covered her mouth. You knew we've been struggling. Your father, he's been working double shifts. She broke off, shaking her head like I had killed someone. Kelly stepped closer, her voice rising. You let me borrow rent money last month like you were doing me a favor. I pawned my engagement ring while you were sitting on that. I didn't want anyone to know. It's complicated. Dad didn't say anything for a long second. He stared at the wine glass in his hand, then suddenly hurled it against the wall. Glass shattered. So you've just been sitting on that while we've been drowning? Silence again. Only this time it wasn't peaceful. It was heavy, ugly, and I knew in that moment Thanksgiving was over. Not just the dinner, the family, everything. The living room felt colder than usual, even with the fire going. No one touched the desserts. My aunt's pumpkin pie sat untouched on the coffee table, sweating under the weight of tension. They had pulled me aside after the dinner crash, like I was a criminal they needed to interrogate. Kelly was pacing near the TV stand, arms folded tight across her chest. My parents sat on the couch, flanking me like guards, not family. Start talking, Kelly said. Where did you get that money? Dad's jaw clenched. And don't lie. I took a breath. It's legal. I've been investing for over a decade. Stocks, crypto, real estate flips. Nothing shady. Mum blinked hard. 10 years? You've had money all this time. It started small, I said. I lived cheap, stayed out of debt, reinvested everything. It grew. Kelly laughed bitterly. Lived cheap? You were clipping coupons and pretending to be broke. You came to our house last year with a $10 bottle of wine and told me you couldn't afford Christmas gifts. I shrugged. I didn't want anyone knowing. Money changes things. Oh, you think? She snapped. Dad leaned forward. You knew I was losing the garage. You knew your mother's car hasn't had working heat in 2 winters. And you just watched? Mum's voice cracked. Your cousin got cancer. We had to crowdsource his treatment. You gave $50. I had my reasons. What reasons justify letting your own family suffer? Kelly's voice broke now. I begged you to co-sign a loan for my house. You said your credit was crap. I looked at her, then Dad, then Mum, all of them staring like I was some kind of monster. I didn't want to be used, I said, my tone sharp now. That's what happens. You tell people you have money, and suddenly they have emergencies. Suddenly you're responsible for everyone's life falling apart. You are responsible, Kelly shouted. Your family! I stood up. Exactly. And that's why I never told you. Because deep down, I knew this is what it would turn into. Not a thank you, not understanding, just a pile on the moment you realized I wasn't desperate like the rest of you. Don't talk down to us, Dad warned. I didn't say another word. I sat back down and stared at the fire while they kept going, every sentence slicing deeper. Hospital bills, mortgage payments, all the things they thought I should have fixed. I didn't argue anymore. I just listened and let it burn. Because the truth was, I had thought about helping them. I just didn't trust a single one of them not to turn it into a noose. And now, watching their faces twist with betrayal and blame, I knew I'd been right. The kitchen was dark, except for the dim light over the stove. I was rinsing dishes in silence, trying to process everything. The house had gone quiet, everyone pretending to sleep or too uncomfortable to speak. I didn't expect anyone to still be awake. But then Kelly slipped in behind me. She leaned on the counter, watching me. Can we talk? Her voice was softer now, sweet even. I didn't look at her. Thought we already did. I mean, just us. No yelling. I sighed and turned off the faucet. Fine. She stepped closer, smiling like we were kids again. Look, I get it. You were trying to protect yourself, but you have to admit, that's a lot of money. More than one person really needs. I stayed quiet. She took that as permission to keep going. I've been looking at places. Nothing crazy. Just something to get out of that tiny apartment. There's this cute 2-bedroom in Brookline. Starter home, really. I could get it for $320,000 with the right down payment. If you just floated me, like $80,000, I could get a mortgage. I turned and faced her. No. Her face didn't change at first, like she hadn't heard me. No? She repeated. Money doesn't fix problems like that, Kelly. That's not a loan. That's a gift I'd never get back. And I'm not starting that with family. Her smile vanished. Wow, seriously? I said no, I repeated. Calm, firm. She stared at me, jaw tightening. Unbelievable. After everything, you sit on millions and I ask for one favor, just one, and you act like I'm some leech. I didn't say that. You didn't have to, she snapped. You think you're better than us now, huh? With your secret bank accounts and your smug little minimalist life. Newsflash, you're still the same awkward, boring freak you were in high school. You just added zeros. I didn't react. Not the way she wanted me to. She stepped even closer, eyes hard now. Fine. If you won't help, maybe the rest of the family deserves to know just how little you care about them. Grandma, Uncle Rob, the whole church group. Let's see how far your silence stretches when everyone sees who you really are. Then she walked out, and I knew that was just her opening move. The smell of eggs and bacon hit me as I came down the stairs the next morning. For a moment, I almost thought things had gone back to normal. But when I walked into the kitchen, the looks on everyone's faces told me everything I needed to know. They were all there. Mom, Dad, Kelly, Aunt Marie, Uncle Rob, even Grandma. Everyone who hadn't been at dinner the night before was now gathered around my kitchen table like it was a town hall meeting. Kelly had told them. Morning, I said carefully. No one answered. Dad didn't even look at me. Mom's eyes were red, like she hadn't slept. Aunt Marie gave me the kind of glare people usually reserve for criminals. Grandma was the first to speak. Is it true, sweetheart? You have millions of dollars, and you never told anyone. I glanced at Kelly. She was sipping coffee, all calm and smug, like she hadn't started a fire. I didn't want it to change things, I said. I wanted to live quietly. Uncle Rob laughed without humor. So you just watched all of us struggle, while you hid away in your money cave? Don't be dramatic. Don't be an asshole, Kelly cut in. You could have helped. You chose not to. Because I knew this would happen, I snapped. Exactly this. You all think I owe you something just because we share a last name. Dad finally spoke. You're missing the point. It's not about the money. It's about loyalty, trust. You kept secrets. Mom nodded slowly. It's like you're not even one of us anymore. I stepped back. You're seriously doing this right now? Uncle Rob raised his hand. Let's vote. I say he goes. We don't need this kind of poison around. Seconded, Kelly said immediately. It wasn't a real vote, not legally, not in any sane world, but one by one, they all nodded or muttered, yes. Even my mother, even Grandma. I looked around at the people I'd spent every holiday with for 30 years. People I'd laughed with, cried with, trusted, and now they were throwing me out of my own house. Dad stood. You've got money. Go buy a new place. You clearly don't want to be part of this family. I grabbed my coat, trying not to let them see how much it hurt. Kelly followed me to the door. As I opened it, she leaned in and whispered, You've got more than enough to get another house. This one's taken care of. I stared at her, stunned. But I didn't say anything. I just walked out and left them all behind. I pulled into the driveway 3 days later, still half hoping it had all been some dramatic misunderstanding. The porch light was on. Someone had taken out the trash. The house looked the same, except it wasn't mine anymore. I tried my key. It didn't fit. I stood there for a moment, just staring at the door like maybe it would recognize me. I tried again, jiggled it, pushed gently. Nothing. I knocked. No answer. Then I rang the doorbell, twice. Kelly finally opened it. She leaned casually against the doorframe, sipping from my coffee mug, the one I kept in the back of the cupboard because it had a chip on the rim. but felt right in my hand. "Can I help you?" she said, like I was a stranger at her Airbnb. "You changed the locks." She smiled. "Yup. Lawyer said I had the right, considering I've established residency." I blinked. "What the hell are you talking about?" She handed me a paper, crumpled, like it had been in her pocket for a day. A residency claim. Apparently, since she'd stayed more than 48 hours with permission and had belongings in the house, she had some kind of temporary tenancy rights. "You're squatting," I snapped. "I'm protecting my space," she said. "You left voluntarily." "I didn't think I needed to stay and fight my own family for my own damn house." She shrugged. "You should have read up on property laws." My hands were shaking. "You think this is going to end well for you?" "I think it's already started well," she said, stepping back inside. "Good luck out there." Then she closed the door, just like that. I stood there for a long minute, staring at my own front door, hearing the faint sound of my TV playing inside. She was using my things, living in my house, pretending I never existed. She wasn't just being greedy, she was making it personal. And that's when it hit me. I wasn't getting my life back by playing fair. She wanted to take everything? Fine. I'd give her a reason to regret ever touching what was mine. No more guilt. No more waiting. It was time to play the long game. The next morning, I drove straight to a cafe with good Wi-Fi and a quiet corner. I ordered a black coffee, sat down, and opened my laptop. If Kelly wanted to play dirty, I'd go surgical. First, I went through my bank accounts. She'd already tried to log in. There were 3 failed login attempts on my main account and a flagged request to reset my password. I changed everything. Usernames, passphrases, multi-factor authentication, security questions, even bank branches. Then I moved every cent out of my main holdings into newly created LLCs under obscure names. It took all day, but by the time I was done, no one, not even me, without the proper chain of steps, could easily access the full picture. Then I opened a burner email account. I messaged a lawyer I'd worked with years ago when I bought the house. A quiet man named Rick, who knew exactly how to keep things off the radar until the last second. Subject line: family squatting in my house. Need strategy. While I waited for a response, I went through my phone and pulled every text message, every voicemail, every shady DM Kelly had sent over the years. I copied the one from last week, where she begged for just $80,000 to make her dreams real. I flagged her threat about telling the family. I even saved a video clip I found on her Instagram story from inside my house, captioned, "Manifesting abundance in my new space." By noon, Rick had emailed me back. His reply was short: "Get a PI, get receipts. I'll draft the counter." So I did. Private investigators aren't what you see in movies. They don't wear trench coats or sit in cars with binoculars. Mine, a woman named Shay, looked like someone's aunt who managed a hair salon. But she was good. Very good. I gave her Kelly's full name, social media, workplace, if she still had one, and a rough timeline of events. That same night she called. "She's already poking around your financials," Shay said. "Found a trail. Your sister tried to use a fake letterhead and a digital signature to access one of your old retirement accounts. She's sloppy." I felt a cold fury build in my chest. "Can we prove it?" "Oh yeah," Shay said. "I've already got screenshots. She emailed a broker pretending to be your personal assistant. The email was traced back to your house Wi-Fi. Perfect. I wasn't just going to get her out of my house. I was going to bury her in paperwork so deep she'd need a shovel to find daylight. She wanted war. Fine. I'd give her one." Shay called me 2 days later. Her voice was calm, but I could hear the weight in it. "She's in deep," she said. I sat in my car, parked outside a hardware store, gripping the steering wheel. "How deep?" $38,000 in credit card debt, maxed out. She's got payday loans, rent overdue on her apartment, which she hasn't been staying in, by the way, and her car's about to be repossessed. I didn't say anything. I just stared out the windshield, jaw clenched. "And there's more," Shay continued. "Online gambling. She's been using 2 different sports betting apps. Thousands in losses over the past 6 months. That's probably why she latched onto your money so fast. You weren't just a brother. You were a bailout plan." The words landed hard, even though part of me already knew. I took a breath. "And my parents?" Shay hesitated. "Tell me." "She's been texting them about getting something out of you. Phrases like, 'He owes us. He can't just walk away. And we deserve our share.' Your mom even helped her draft that fake assistant letter. Your dad's name is listed on a phone bill she used as address verification. I felt like something inside me cracked. They weren't just letting her do it, they were helping. Send me everything, I said. Already did. I checked my inbox. Screenshots, call logs, transcripts. My family, in black and white, conspiring behind my back like I was some enemy holding treasure. I didn't get angry in the way people shout or break things. Mine was quieter, focused, cold. The first thing I did was call the bank and report attempted fraud. I gave them all the documents Shay had gathered. By the end of the day, every account Kelly tried to touch was frozen. A notice was sent to her email. Let her choke on that surprise. This wasn't about money anymore. This was about betrayal, about trust shattered beyond repair. She thought she could bleed me dry and smile through it. She hadn't seen the worst of me yet. I was just getting started. The restaurant was nicer than any place we'd ever eaten as a family. I picked it on purpose. White tablecloths, soft jazz, the kind of spot where people lower their voices out of respect. I'd asked them to meet for dinner. No details, just a simple message. We need to talk, one last time. They came, of course. Curiosity is powerful, especially when guilt hasn't caught up yet. We sat at a round table near the back. Kelly was in full smug mode, wearing a blazer she definitely couldn't afford. My parents looked cautious. Grandma, sweet and clueless, just smiled and held her purse like it was going to run off. I didn't waste time. I pulled out a small folder and set it on the table. "What's this?" Dad asked. "Proof," I said. Kelly narrowed her eyes. "Of what?" I opened the folder and slid out copies of emails. Shay had printed everything in chronological order, with sticky tabs and highlights. I pointed to the first one. "This is you, Kelly, emailing my broker and pretending to be my assistant. See the date? See the IP address?" She didn't say a word. I moved to the next page. "This is the fake letter Mum helped you write. Note the grammar. Exactly how she signs her Facebook posts." Mum gasped softly. "That's not—" "It's your email address." I cut in. Then I pulled out the screenshots of text messages between Kelly and Dad. "You said, 'I owe you.' You called me selfish. You said you were going to take what you deserved, with or without my permission." The table was dead quiet now. The waiter came by to refill water glasses and sensed something was wrong. He left without a word. I laid down the final piece, a formal notice from my lawyer stating that a criminal case for fraud and property theft was ready to file. Names listed, charges detailed. Kelly's face went pale. She looked like she might throw up. Dad stared at the paper. Mom looked down at her lap. "I let you in my house," I said, my voice low but steady. "I trusted you, all of you, and instead of talking to me, you schemed behind my back. You used me." Kelly opened her mouth to speak, but I stood up. "I'm done," I said. "Don't call me. Don't show up at my door. Don't pretend we're still family." I dropped a $100 bill on the table for the untouched dinner and walked out. No one followed. The court date came fast. Kelly showed up in a blazer 2 sizes too big and a smile that cracked under pressure. My lawyer had everything in place. Emails, forged documents, IP traces, even a signed statement from one of the bank clerks she'd tried to manipulate. It wasn't even close. The judge called it what it was: fraud, attempted identity theft, illegal occupancy. She was ordered to vacate the property within 7 days, pay restitution, and was slapped with a pending criminal charge under review by the DA's office. Her face didn't register any emotion until the word criminal was said out loud. Then she cracked. She cried in front of the cameras outside the courthouse, played the victim card, said I was heartless, that I'd turned against my own blood, but no one bought it. Not this time. My parents didn't show up to court, too ashamed maybe, or maybe they knew their part had already spread. The extended family found out. Grandma told everyone. At first there were whispers, but then came the full collapse. Uncles, cousins, even family friends started cutting ties. No one wanted to be associated with people who tried to rob their own. Word got around fast. Mom lost her job at the community centre. Dad closed the garage for financial restructuring. But everyone knew the real reason. No customers, no trust. Kelly moved back into a friend's apartment, sleeping on a futon. Her car was finally repossessed. The house she had dreamed about, gone before she ever stepped inside it. I didn't speak to any of them again. But sometimes I drove by the old church where we used to gather on Sundays. I'd see the empty lot where Dad's shop used to buzz. or spot Mom walking with her head down, avoiding people who once waved. I never rolled down the window, never said a word. I just watched. Not out of joy, not revenge, just quiet peace. They taught me what they were when they thought I had nothing. And they showed me even more when they thought I had everything. I packed my things slowly, just the essentials. A few books, my laptop, a bag of clothes, and the old coffee mug with the chip on the rim. Everything else could stay or be sold. I didn't need reminders. The house felt hollow after the court cleared it out. Kelly had left behind garbage bags and bitterness. I had the place deep cleaned, repainted, and listed within a week. I didn't want to sleep there again. Too much had happened inside those walls. Every room echoed with things I couldn't forget. I bought a one-way ticket to Oregon, somewhere quiet, somewhere new. I didn't tell anyone. I didn't post about it. No grand goodbye. Just gone. The cabin I rented sat by a lake, surrounded by pine trees and foggy mornings. It wasn't fancy, but it had peace, and after everything, that felt like luxury. I made coffee every morning, sat on the porch, and let my thoughts settle like dust in sunlight. I thought I'd feel better with distance. Sometimes I did, but other times, the anger came back like a splinter under the skin. Not because of the money, not even because of the house, but because of the lies. The way they turned so fast, the way love vanished the moment they saw a number with commas. Kelly had once cried on my shoulder after a breakup. My mum had sewn patches into my jacket in college. Dad taught me how to change my own oil. All of that had meant something to me. But to them, I guess it didn't outweigh a checkbook. And maybe that's what hurt most of all, realizing I'd loved people who only saw me as a wallet waiting to open. Out here, no one knew my name. No one asked about my family. When someone smiled, it wasn't because they wanted a favor. It was just a smile. I wasn't over it. Not completely, but I was free. And some days that was enough. The money didn't fix anything. It didn't make the betrayal easier or the silence quieter, but it gave me space. Space to start over, space to breathe. And as I sat by the lake, coffee in hand, wind moving through the trees like a slow exhale, I finally understood. Turns out, $12 million doesn't change people. It just shows you who they always were.